Hello everyone and welcome to the NAB Season 1 Regulation F VGC Doubles Draft Recap. Now those of you might want to ask, what happened to the Regulation H draft? Well, a lot of my recordings did not go well. I was having difficulty getting my capture card to communicate with my Nintendo Switch. Therefore my gameplay videos did not complete and I wanted to still enjoy the game, so we played out the rest of the draft and I ended the season with a 6-1 record. After making major changes to my team, I was able to complete the season. Let's get things started. The league rules is this is a Regulation F doubles format and everyone is going to have 110 points with 10 Pokemon, 10 rounds, and there are 8 teams. It's going to be your standard snake draft, so we'll start with the first player and their first pick. Now, Kid Milk went with Walking Wake, a choice that is really great on a Sun team. And there were 2 types of teams I was looking at in my initial draft research, and it was Sun and Electric Terrain. Why? Photosynthesis and Quark Drive are 2 key abilities in the Regulation F format because you have access to all these different Paradox Pokemon. So 15 points on the first pick, not a bad choice. From here, we're starting to see those picks that I was originally worried about going away in the first few rounds. I knew coming into this that being 7th pick, Pokemon like Urshifu Rapid Strike, Raging Bolt, and Flutter Mane were going to go quickly. I had my eyes set on my first pick, which I'm going to talk about before any of the others, and that is Ogerpon Wellsprings. Ogerpon Wellsprings has a great ability and uses the Wellspring Mask to boost up its special defense after terroring. It has a lot of great utility alongside its healing and great typing in Grass Water. There were only a couple other 20-point Pokemon that I wasn't 100% sure on, and those were Qianpao and Urshifu Single Strike. But I decided to go with Ogerpon Wellspring because I had a clear direction I wanted to go with my team. So like I said, Urshifu Rapid Strike was definitely one of those ones that I saw would go quickly. And for obvious reasons. Its Unseen Fist ability, being able to strike through protects, and being able to crit with an attack like Surging Strikes on every single... and it's just a great water type to choose as your first pick. From there, we've got the premier Tailwind setter in the league. 19 points, you have Tornadus Incarnate. It has the Prankster ability, meaning that it can use Tailwind almost immediately every match. As I said, Raging Bolt was another big heavy hitter that I saw leaving in the first part of this game, and United Mike was able to pick it up in the 4th round. Honestly, an incredible pick. A lot of utility. Doesn't need much explanation other than that. Now, this was a pick that I was definitely surprised to see go in the 5th round of all things, considering my last league wasn't able to get any of the heavy contenders. Seeing something like Flutter Mane go this late into the draft definitely gave Phoenix King a direction this time around that I felt very threatened by. Now, I only needed to worry about one more pick before mine to get that Ogerpon Wellsprings, and seeing Iron Hands as pick number 6 put my mind at ease, mostly because of the direction my draft wanted to go. Iron Hands is a great pick this early on. Fake Out user, very bulky, great attack, wonderful in Trick Room. Final pick of the draft is Nebulous with Archaludon. Is a great pick for not only your rain setter, but also any type of defense boosting shenanigans you want with their stamina ability, hitting it multiple times. So first round, looking great, a lot of 20-point picks, already out the gate, a lot of high contenders. Now let's talk about the rest of my draft and go over some highlights from the other teams. So my next pick, seeing that Flutter Mane was already gone, I needed a special attacker that did spread damage. And there were a couple picks that I was looking at. Blood Moon Ursaluna was obviously the other choice. But Gholdengo, having that steel typing and those Make It Rains, being able to answer the Flutter Mane and a few other key big pieces in Regulation F, I definitely wanted this to be picked up now before it got snatched away. I'm glad I was able to get this in the second round, and now I've got a bit of a rounded team with my physical and special attackers. Looking at the end of round 2, Farigiraf and Chi-Yu seem like the standout picks to me. Both were on my radar for these early rounds. Now, my third pick was a great way to round out my team and my core. These were the 3 I was looking at the most, and I'm glad I was able to pick them all up without contention really much at all. It was Gouging Fire. Being able to pair that with the Ogerpon and utilize moves like Howl and Spiky Shield, Burning Bulwark combinations, I knew that this was going to be what my team was going to focus on, was those 2 when I was doing my initial drafting. I had to make a pivot in my first pick, and so I was trying to round out my team with plenty of type coverage. Out of these, I think Ogerpon Hearthflame really caught my attention. Enamorus is also a very versatile pick. You're really starting to see the cores of each team come together with these first 3 rounds. Seeing such a heavy investment in special attackers allowed me to make a judgment call on the direction of the rest of my team, looking at what was popular in Regulation F and what teams could utilize Pokemon like this the most. Ting-Lu's Vessel of Ruin ability lowers the special attack of all Pokemon except itself. Now, it is a physical attacker with a decent special defense, and for only 14 points, it is such a physical tank that it allows me to utilize its ability alongside Ogerpon or Gouging Fire. Ting-Lu is obviously a great pickup here for me. Regidrago is an incredible spread move special attacker. And of course you have Thwackey, Grassy Terrain, and Fake Out. Such a good point investment. Sad I wasn't able to pick it up in either of the drafts I participated in so far. And that's okay, because I'm really happy with my next round. Now my next pick is to pair really well with that Ting-Lu. It is Dondozo. Dondozo is a slow, bulky Pokemon. The 2 of them together in Trick Room can be a very scary pair to deal with. Even Dondozo, solo Dondozo on its own, being able to use those wave crashes and earthquakes is going to do a lot of damage, because Unaware, ignoring stat changes is what's going to come through, and having a lot of physical defense when you have something like Ting-Lu on your team is going to go very far. That's why I picked it. It's only 10 points in this league, which I think is highly valuable. And you can really see that at the end of this round. I still have 29 points remaining. Everyone else was able to get their Intimidate users pretty early on. Primarina is a great special attacker with that fairy type. We're about halfway done, and there's surprisingly a lot more points remaining than I thought there'd be, but I think that is a big part of having that extra 10 points in this draft league as opposed to my last one. And I'm not slowing down anytime soon, because my next pick is another physical attacker and something that can utilize, can work really well with my team. It gives me access to more types. I've got a wide variety of typing on my team. Galarian Zapdos, Defiant ability, prevents my opponents from bringing Intimidate. Galarian Zapdos is a deterrent from my opponents bringing abilities. Galarian Zapdos is a deterrent for my opponent bringing those Intimidate abilities, having Defiant, being able to raise its attack up, or being used as a utility mon with things like Coaching and Tailwind. It pairs really well with the Gouging Fire for those exact reasons. My bulky mons in Ting-Lu and Dondozo can take advantage of the boosts you're going to see from something like Galarian Zapdos. You're kind of seeing everyone else slow down a bit with these low point picks, right? Fletchinder, Ditto, Duosion, Venonat, all really great picks for just minimal point investments. Even Rampardos, amazing attack stat, low speed, great in Trick Room. My next pick is Charjabug. A 1-point Mon with a very unique ability in Battery, increasing all of my special attacks. I knew that Ting-Lu would reduce my own special attacks, and so a lot of people might not be bringing those in games. I can lead with Charjabug and Gholdengo. It also has a lot of utility for just a little 1-point Mon. Electro Web, Sticky Web, I have seen this do so much for just a single point and a decent base stat total when you equip it with that Eviolite. 3 rounds left at the end of round 7, and honestly, some of these picks are really filling out teams nicely. Electivire, Follow Me, Morpeko, Parting Shot, Hariyama's got Fake Out, Melodic with Icy Wind, Intimidate User, and Gyarados. Even Charjabug for me feels like some really good utility on my team. Even Iron Leaves here is just incredible with that electric terrain, right? My next pick, I was looking at keeping that unique typing going and finding my own Fake Out Parting Shot user, because I wasn't necessarily looking at Intimidate, and I needed another special attacker to pair with my idea of bringing Charjabug, Gholdengo. It could throw players off one game to bring those 3 and leave Ting-Lu behind. So Poison, Psychic, and having a fast special attacker, being able to set up those toxic chains in a utility team alone with Ting-Lu and Dondozo, being able to soak up damage and redirect things with Ogerpon for only 8 points. I don't know why, but I'm kind of surprised about round 8. Obviously, I really like my pick in Monkidori, and Magmar is one of the best Follow Me users. Iron Boulder is a really scary Pokemon to go up against, and there's a lot of versatility with Blaziken. Harvest User and Exeggutor for just a low point cost. Only a couple rounds left. I knew I needed something that had access to Trick Room. I knew I needed my own Intimidate user. 2 points for Stantler seemed like a no-brainer. I can imprison my opponent's Trick Rooms. There's some real sleeper picks here with Arbor Olive and Brute Bonnet, Zoroark. I mean, even Galarian Moltres is highly valuable. There's a lot of nice utility picks rounding out this draft. I like to see it. With exactly 5 points left, picked up Alcremie, Fairy typing, Decorate. I think of Coaching on Galarian Zapdos. I think of Howl on Gouging Fire. Being able to boost up any of my Pokemon here. I mean, even Dondozo can really utilize this Decorate ability, and I needed a Fairy type with a good spread attack move, so not a bad way to end my draft, and kind of leans into that special side of my team, right, with the high special defense stat here. Overall, I'm really liking my team. I mean, like I was saying originally, I've got such a unique amount of typings on my team. Grasswater Ogerpon, Steel Ghost Gholdengo, Fire Dragon Gouging Fire, Dark Ground Ting-Lu, Water Dondozo, Fighting, Flying on Galarian Zapdos, Charjabug is Electric and Bug, Psychic Poison with Monkidori, Normal Stantler, and rounding things out with the Fairy typing on Alcremie. You can even look at my type chart here where you see I don't have too many weaknesses in terms of my overall team. Like, nothing is 4 times super effective against me, and I'm only, most of my type chart, it rounds out to be positive and green, right? So honestly, I think this is a good draft for me, and you'll get to see that in the end of this round for everyone else too. I gotta say about this final round, everyone was able to get to that 0 point total except for Aloe. I'm not saying that Metagross isn't a strong pick this late into the draft. Obviously, I like my Decorate user. A lot of versatility with Dragonite, so many different builds you can bring with it. There's some really solid teams here, and you'll have to follow along to see what free agents everyone picks up and some of the first matches coming into this week. With all 8 of our coaches posting their matches, make sure to subscribe and follow along. We've got a nice collaborative playlist going, and you'll be able to check out each of the games every other day each week. Thanks for stopping by and watching this draft breakdown. I hope you enjoyed seeing my team, and like I said, you'll have to check out my first week to see if I made any free agent trades, which I did. Thanks for watching.